Hello everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to give you a wee walk around, a wee review on my new laptop. Now those of you that have already seen the first bit of this video can probably skip the first few minutes of this because I never did too well at the first attempt. But hopefully this attempt should be quite a bit better. The lighting in here tends to be a little bit better than the lighting I had in my room, so hopefully this will be a much better attempt. Okay, let's get started. This is a Toshiba P50T-A125, that's its model number. It's a UK model, for those of you that are watching this in the States and don't exactly know what I'm talking about. So this is a UK model, and it was this machine was £1,000, or £999 if you want to be brutally honest about it. So I'm going to give you a wee walk around the ports and a wee look at what some of the features it has on it, and basically tell you what I like and what I don't like. This is my first video review, so you know my video techniques and my actual style might not be everybody's liking, but you know don't try not make too many rude comments, please. Try and keep it nice. So here we go. Let's get started then. Now if you look around, you will see that it's an all metal construction. It's the top is brushed aluminium, as is the lid. The lid's also brushed aluminium. I'll just lift it up for you to give a wee look. The lid's all brushed aluminium. The bottom's plastic though. I'm not going to bother lifting it up because there's not an awful lot to see under there apart from the door that accesses the memory. So it's not really a unibody per se, but it's fairly build quality is nice and sturdy. It's not too build quality is not too bad. It's nice and sturdy for what it is. The base doesn't flex or anything. Again, there are some better laptops in this price range with the HP Envy and the Apple MacBook 13-inch. I believe they're all metal construction. So again, this is a wee it's like, I wouldn't say it's cheap, but it's there's good and bad points to having a plastic base and a metal top. Sometimes it makes the laptop more, I guess, durable against knocks and bumps and things like that. So let's go down the bottom and see what we've got. Now down the bottom you will see you have 3 indicator lights, and if I can just get the camera down here, you will see that you have, yep, there we are, 3 indicator lights, one for your charging, one for your power, and one for your wireless communication. There's no hard drive light, which I'm kind of a wee bit disappointed about. I mean, it's probably not needed in this day and age because you can kind of tell what the hard drive's doing anyway, but it'd be nice if Toshiba had included one of those anyway. So it's a wee bit of disappointment. And down here you will see you've got an SD card reader, and that'll do, it's a 3-in-1, so it'll do SD, it'll do SDXC up to I think it's about 64 gig, and it'll also do multimedia card. It covers most of the card formats that people would want. Again, it's a wee bit of a step back for Dell and other people because they use 8-in-1 card readers, but that's plenty enough. That should cover most of the card formats, as I say, that people would be looking for. If we turn the laptop round, I'll spin it round to this side first. On this side you will see you've got a Kensington lock, your fan louver for the processor, that's a cooling vent, 15-pin VGA, again it's a bit ancient but still fairly good if you want to plug into a monitor. You get a full-size HDMI port, I think that's HDMI 1.4, it supports the Ultra HD super high resolution, and it'll also drive a 3D TV. If you have that kind of telly, it'll drive one of those. 2 USB 3 ports and a microphone and a headphone jack, which is quite nice to see them separated. They usually tend to find that they tend to be together in a lot of machines. They're combined into one headphone and microphone headset jack. So it's nice that Toshiba included an external one, an external mic connection, and that external mic, by the way, will do USB sleeping music, so you can be able to basically plug your phone or your iPod in or whatever and play the sound through the internal speakers. More on that later on, while the laptop's powered off or it's in sleep mode. I already showed you the front. If we look around to this side, you will see you get your power jack, your RJ45 LAN, 2 USB 2 ports. Again, it's the old P855 series of this had 4 USB 3 ports rather, so it's a wee bit of a step backwards, but again it's still nice to have a mixture. And you still got an optical drive, which is very nice. Again, in this day and age, you barely get an optical drive at all. So this day and age, it's quite nice to see that. And that is actually a Blu-ray writer, by the way, on this machine, which is very nice. I didn't expect to see one of those. Really good. It's a step up from what you normally get. Most of these laptops, even in this price range, only have a Blu-ray reader. So again, that's nice to see. What else can we talk about here? Oh yeah, the keyboard. The keyboard is full size, as you can see, with a numeric keypad. The display, well, it's a 15.6 inch screen, and that's a full 1920 by 1080 screen, which again, it's not too bad. It's not the best display in the world. It's basically a TN panel. Now, if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it, but suffice to say, it's the cheapest type of display you can get, and it's not great in terms of its colour accuracy and its viewing angles. Side to side aren't too bad, but up and down is up and down vertical viewing angles aren't too great. Maybe in the second half of this video, if I get to show you the software side of the machine, maybe I can give you a wee look at that later on. But as I say, it's not the best screen in this class. There is better screens. It's a full HD, as I say, which is nice, but it could have been a better screen. They've obviously cheapened a little bit on that. You also up here get a 2 megapixel webcam. Now the camera will not pick this up, but there's a 2 megapixel full HD webcam up there with a stereo microphone. Camera quality is, well, what'd you expect? It's a full, you know, it's a laptop webcam. It's designed for video calls and Skype and things like that. So it's not really meant for video recording. I recorded a few of my videos that I record my piano with, and my mum's iPad would soundly beat this in terms of its, especially with the microphone. It really doesn't pick up much unless you're just recording your voice. So, I mean, again, what do you expect? It's a laptop's webcam. It's only meant for video calls and Skype and chatting over Facebook. So it does the job perfectly well. But again, you know, they could really improve the quality of these things quite a bit, because the video it takes when you're recording is very, very grainy. So I'm a wee bit disappointed about that. But again, it still does the job admirably well. This keyboard, again, is coming back to the keyboard here, is backlit, but it's kind of a bit like, it's a bit of a fart in a whirlwind. I would give you a wee demonstration of it, but again, it looks a lot brighter on camera than it is actually in person. Trust me, it is a very, very dim keyboard. And unlike my old PowerBook, you can't, or unlike any sort of MacBook or a lot of other laptops out there, you can't adjust the brightness. All you can really do is turn it off and turn it on and set it on a timer, so it's like on, you know, it goes off every 5 seconds after you've stopped using the keyboard. So again, it's not the best backlit keyboard in the world. It's nice to still included one. Even, you know, laptops in this price range, they don't tend to include a backlit keyboard, so it's nice that Toshiba included one, but they could have done a wee bit better in allowing you to adjust it. Touchpad, nice and roomy. It's a wee bit kind of awkward because it's kind of offset to one side here. It's kind of offset to the left here, so you tend to find when you're typing you'll inadvertently, you know, nudge the touchpad when you don't mean to. There's a wee button here just down there to turn it off if you want to, and there's a button up here in the function keys. And also this touchpad supports multi-finger gestures, so you can do your pinch to zoom up and down and scroll side to side, and you can zoom in and out with your pincher and things like that. And you can rotate things with your fingers, so it's pretty nice. That's a nice touchpad. The speakers, now these are Harman Kardon speakers, as you can probably see over there, the Harman Kardon logo there. So these are Harman Kardon speakers, so they're actually a step above what you normally get in laptops. It's not going to beat a full-blown hi-fi, and if you're expecting hi-fi levels of bass and volume, you are going to be kind of disappointed, because they're really not intended for that purpose. Given the reviews that this got, I was kind of expecting that, because I'm more used to the quad speakers on the 17-inch version of this machine that sound really good, and some of the Dells and the HPs have subwoofers in them as well, so you can't expect it to match, you know, the kind of bass and volume that these have. But I will say one thing, they're very clear, they go pretty loud and they don't distort when you have them up at maximum volume. They're very clear, and there is still quite a good bit of mid-range there. Although, like I say, just don't expect anything, you know, super fancy in terms of sound quality. Don't expect a ton of bass and things like that, because you just ain't going to get it. But they're definitely a step above what you get in most machines, so I'm glad that Toshiba included a decent pair of speakers. what else can we go on about? Oh yeah, the specs of the machine. Well, this machine's got a Core i7, an Intel Core i7 quad-core processor. That's a 4200QM, a very powerful chip. You also get a pretty ridiculous 12 gigs of memory. So if you want to do CAD or Photoshop or video editing or anything like that, it's got plenty of power to run whatever you're doing. This is a plenty enough gutsy machine. You get a 1TB hard drive, again, although it's kind of a slow 5400 RPM drive. It does, I've noticed that when using the machine, it does make it kind of sluggish. So Toshiba could have included a hybrid drive of some sort with a wee bit of memory there on board, faster memory to sort of, you know, boost the performance a little bit over the standard hard drive, or they maybe just put a faster hard drive in. But again, you know, it's good enough for the job. It's a plenty capacious enough drive. You get a fairly decent Nvidia 740M graphics card. Now, it's a mid-range graphics card that can play games. Although you do have to be sensible with the quality settings. I mean, you can't go mad or anything, you know, especially if you're running Crysis or something like that. You're not going to be able to turn the settings away up to maximum like crazy and be able to get a playable frame rate out of it. You have to either drop the resolution, especially if you're running the screen's native 1920 by 1080 resolution. You'll either have to drop the res or drop the detail settings a bit. But that's a fairly good graphics card for what it is. You should be able to play most newer games fine. And that also supports NVIDIA Optimus, so it's got integrated graphics on the processor. So what it'll do is, when you're not doing strenuous graphical tasks, it'll use the integrated graphics to save battery power. And then when you finally launch a game or launch a CAD or any sort of video playback that requires an extra bit of graphical power, then the discrete GPU will kick in. Really nice. And that graphics card has 2 gigs of memory. What else do you get? You get Bluetooth 4. This machine's got Bluetooth, and you get Wi-Fi. I believe it's dual band Wi-Fi. I'm not entirely sure. I need to check the spec for that. But you get Wi-Fi B, G and N. And you also get Intel's wireless display and Intel's Miracast technology. Now, I'm not entirely sure what Miracast does, but I know that wireless display, if you buy a dongle for your TV, it allows you to beam content directly from the laptop here to a wireless display, or just to your telly, but wireless without having to connect the HDMI or the VGA cable. So again, this is a very full loaded machine for the price that you pay for it. But again, it does have negatives to it. I will, if we're going to come on to the things I don't like about it, as previously mentioned, the keyboard is quite dim, and also it's a very glossy finish. You will notice that it does have quite a glossy appearance. Again, I suppose that's the price you pay for it's a nice attractive look. And the keys are actually quite shallow in terms of their key travel. But in order to make the laptop as thin and light as they could, I take it they probably have to make shallower and thinner keyboards. And the spacebar's a little bit stubby, it could be a bit longer. But again, I'm nitpicking here. Overall, it's a very nice keyboard to type on. And the next thing is, well, if I'm being very, very picky here, we're lacking, on the port side, we're lacking Firewire, we're lacking DisplayPort, and we're lacking in any sort of express card or expansion slot. Now, the latter two aren't too bad, because you don't tend to find Firewire and express card slots in most new machines these days, because hardly anybody uses them, and you can get USB adapters to most of these things. Express card, as I say, nobody really uses it very much these days, so to save space, I guess they don't tend to include them, but it does limit your options as to expandability and things like that. DisplayPort, well, a lot of high-end laptops are starting to include them now, so it'd be nice if Toshiba does have a space here next to the HDMI port where they could have put a DisplayPort, so it'd be nice if they included one. I know HP includes one with theirs, and of course Apple includes Thunderbolt with all their Thunderbolt ports with all their laptops as well. So it'd be nice if Toshiba included one of them. What else can I talk about? What else I don't like about it? Oh yeah, battery life. Now, this is one of the Achilles heels of this machine. Battery life really isn't very great, and I should have mentioned this at the start of the review, but the battery in this machine is actually sealed into the unit. It's actually not... It's non-removable, so you can't actually remove it. I'm sure there's a way of getting into it and removing it the same way as there is a MacBook Pro getting into it and removing it, but one, you void your warranty, and two, you also, it's tricky to find a new battery to put in it. You know, it's not just as easy as popping the lid off and popping a couple of switches and flicking the battery out. But again, it'd be okay if the battery was any good, but really, in using this machine on light use, you'll get about 3 hours out of it. And if you're doing anything intensive, bank on getting maybe about an hour and a half, 2 maximum. So again, battery life is really nothing to crow about on this machine. Again, you kind of expect that out of a powerful 15-inch machine, but given the HP Envy that I was reading a review about has the exact same components, and also lasts an hour longer. The Toshiba, it's only a wee 4-cell battery, but Toshiba could really have done a better job on battery life in this machine. As well as that, of course, what else did I like about it? As I mentioned before, the washed out screen, you know, the rather cheap and cheerful TN panel that this thing has. It's no great on colours and contrast and viewing angles. It's okay, as I say, it's better than a lot of cheaper laptops, but a lot of cheaper laptops, like especially the Acer Aspire and some other ones, do have better, sharper screens on them with better colours and things like that. So again, Toshiba's made a few compromises. They give you a powerful machine for £999, but they have made a few compromises, especially with the plastic chassis and the slightly mediocre screen and whatnot to get to the price point they have. But they do, I will say, they do give you a lot for your money. Weight-wise, well, this machine weighs about 2.6 kilo without the power brick, which isn't too bad given the fact that, you know, how powerful it is. The power brick, although it comes with it, is actually very chunky and very big, so again, it's, you know, you got to consider that when you're travelling this on the road. I mean, if you do need, as I say, if you're looking to use this as a road machine, have a wee try of it first to see how you feel, especially in terms, as I was saying, the battery life. If you're really relying on the battery, this might not be a great machine for you, but as I say, give it a wee try before you buy, because this is something that I never really did before I bought this. I got this for uni, so I never really sort of tried it out before I bought it. I was kind of going on a whim, based on the reviews that I read of this machine. So I would give this machine overall a good solid 7 out of 10, maybe 8 at a push. I mean, as I say, there could be things that are better about it, especially with the keyboard, the screen and the battery life. But it gets, as I say, it gets most of the boxes right. As I say, you get features that you wouldn't normally expect at this price, like the metal finish on the top, and the Blu-ray writer drive, and the powerful Core i7 processor, and the 12 gigs of RAM and things like that. So you get a very gutsy machine. I should have mentioned also, we're running Windows 8.1. That's what this machine's running. So that's the software we're using. And also this, oh by the way, this 15-inch screen here, this is actually a touchscreen. That's what the P50T stands for. So you can prod around. Touch response is actually quite good. I'll give you a wee demonstration of this when I do the software demo. So touch response is pretty good. Again, it's not, you know, it depends whether you want to use it or not. I mean, I tend to use it sometimes if the touchpad's letting me down. But again, there is a model without a touchscreen. It's called the P50A. It's cost about the same amount, so I mean, why you would want one without a touchscreen kind of beats me. But if you do, that's the model to look for, the P50-A series. The P50T, as I say, is the one with the touchscreen. Also, there is a cheaper version of this machine out, the S50 series, which has almost identical specs, same processor and graphics card and everything else. The only thing that's different about it is that you don't get the metal. You get a lot less metal on the on the actual top and the lid. There's still metal on the wrist rest and on some of the lid, but there's no anywhere near as much yet. And the screen's only a 720p display, so it's lower resolution, and also you don't get the good Harman Kardon speakers that you get on this, and you get one less USB port, but again it's £250 cheaper. You get all the same features, even the backlit keyboard. So again, that might be worth looking at if you're looking for a machine like this and you want something that's maybe cheaper than this, because it's, as I say, it's kind of hard to justify the extra £250 for this unless you absolutely need the higher res screen and the better speakers and things like that. So again, I would give this machine a good solid 7 out of 10. As I say, it could be better. Feel free to leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. As I say, this is my first video review, so my video production techniques and my voice might not be to everybody's liking. I know this review is pretty long. I will be doing a part 2 of this, and I'll be giving you an overview of the software on the system. Walk around what it's like and what it's like powered up. But I hope you've enjoyed this review of the walk around of the Toshiba Satellite P50T-A125, and feel free to leave a comment if you have one. Okay then, I will speak to you all soon, and cheery bye for now. Ta-da.